Welcome to Cooks and Cars Race Day Nation edition. I'm Rob D'Amico alongside Michele Rahal. Michele, welcome to the program, man.
That's great to be here every week, and I'm delighted to be here with our special guest, which you will announce. And looking forward to this coming weekend, man. I really am.
Yeah, this is going to be a big weekend for the U.S., for Miami, for F1, and for racing fans everywhere. But first, before we get into that, this segment is brought to you by the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. Log on to biggreenegg.com to find an authorized dealer near you where you can shop online and have it delivered to your home for free. So check it out, please. It's biggreenegg.com. All right, now let's get into it. We got a big race in Miami. Now, we talked about this before, how the residents wanted to get rid of this race, didn't want it to happen. All the Kens and Karens down there were bitching and moaning it was going to physically hurt their hearing. I mean, seriously, come on. But now we have it. It's this weekend finally. I'm so damn excited. I wish I could be there. And I hear it is the people that have been down there so far.
It's electric, man.
Yeah,
it's electric. Everybody is the introduction of the drivers and the party. I think even the drivers themselves were just kind of taken aback because a lot of them are very young, have not really experienced something as exciting as the Miami atmosphere. And when they were introducing them, it was. They really look taken aback. It's like, oh, wow, this is America? It's kind of America, South America is what it is.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I will say it's been cool to watch all the drivers, throwing out baseballs at the baseball games. I saw Lewis Hamilton playing golf with Tom Brady, obviously the champions with the Bucks and all that stuff in Rahal's backyard right there in Tampa. But all great stuff. So, we have a guest who's down there live in Miami right now. We're going to bring him on, and one of our favorites to bring on the show here, Juan Pablo Montoya, joins us live from the Miami GP in this car, ready to go. And you are on the track today, and talk about that. What is the track like for these guys when they get out there and start hitting it?
So yesterday was actually, we were doing the first laps on the track yesterday, and I gotta say, the guys at the Miami GP did an amazing job. It's crazy. They built a hell of a racetrack and a hell of an event. As you guys said, the party last night. We stayed there where they were announcing all the drivers, and the fans are so into it. It's amazing. I think it's great to see. It's not one of the cooler things there is not only how cool the event is, but the track itself. I was talking to some of the guys, like the McLaren guys and everything, and I was telling them, man, this is tricky. It's like there's a lot of long blind corners that is gonna be like, if you don't commit, you're gonna be really slow, and if you commit, you're gonna hit something.
We watched the not the animated, but the CG version, the computer generated version. And I was surprised. You had long straights, but then again, you had a lot of turns. And I'm curious with the 3 DRS zones that they have, the long straights. From what I understand, one of the DRS zones is going to start at the start-finish line. I could be wrong, but that's a long straight. I mean, if people have got DRS from the beginning of that straightaway, everybody else is gone. It could be a conga line. I hope not, but
no, the start finish line is actually pretty short. So if you get a DRS there, it's not a long DRS. The 2 other straights, especially the last straight before the last corner, that is a very long straight, like a very, very long straight. I think and you come out of a slower corner that it's much easier to follow and be closer to people. I think they really did a good job designing the track where you can actually pass. I mean, like the other long straight, you come out of a difficult corner, and I think you won't be as close as you want. But I think the straight is going to be long enough that when you open that DRS, it's going to make a massive difference. So it's kind of interesting because it's kind of a place where you wanted to have probably a ton of downforce. So you're really good through the corners and the break-ins, but then you're going to be, sitting so slow on the straights. So, the teams will have to compromise with the setup a lot here. And I think that's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see, do you start on Friday with really high downforce and just run the high downforce the first day when the truck's really new and dirty, just to be, you know, on the smarter side and the safer side? Or do you just go with whatever you think you need to run and just get comfortable with it? You know what I mean? There's a lot of unforgiving corners that I think is really cool. You know, there's a really tight chicane, like you go up to like an exit ramp, and then you just turn really tight left and right, and it's like tight left, tight right, and then 90 degrees into the back straight. But that tight, it's really tight. Like, I think if you in qualifying, if they try to overcommit to that and they get over the curb on the exit, they're gonna go boom into the tires. You know, they're gonna hit the wall there. And it's a genuine street course. You know what I mean? There's a lot of the apexes are walls, and I think that is really, really, really cool. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of places, like with the IndyCar, when you go to the street courses, they kept moving the walls away and putting curbs. But the beauty of a street course was that the inside barrier, it was the apex, and you were driving to the wall. And if you did it well, you were right on the wall. You were not on a curb, and you couldn't ride the curb. You either bounced off the wall or you did it right. And I think that was really cool.
It's different when you don't have curbs and you've got a wall sitting there. That's a whole nother animal. There's no riding curbs. You're just staring at a wall.
Yes, there's not. Oh, I just bounced off the curb. If you bounce off the curb in the old world, you're like putting the fence. Oh, we need to give drivers more of a view of where they're going. I mean, I don't
know. Juan Pablo, you sound upset on this one. It's like, come on, guys, man up.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think the track is going to do, because it's new asphalt? I mean, in the heat, that was the one big question I had. In this heat, you and I both know, because I'm in Tampa, you're in Miami, the humidity and the heat, a lot of these drivers are absolutely just not used to that kind of heat and humidity. The Verstappens, Leclerc, these guys, Australia was one thing, but it's not Miami. It's not that kind of humidity and that kind of heat.
Australia, when we go to Australia, we used to go to Australia, it was hot and it wasn't that hot. You know, the time of the year we went in Melbourne, it wasn't crazy hot. It was normally pretty chill. But like Bahrain, when they went to Bahrain, it was hot. When they did, Saudi was hot. I know they even raced a night at Saudi, but it was very hot. I think this is more like a Malaysia weather. I was talking to some of the engineers and they all dressed up and sweating and said, does it remind you of Malaysia? And they were laughing at me because they said it's just the same weather. And the crazy thing with Miami right now, about 2 weeks ago, the rain started. You know, the humidity rain season started. And yesterday was a great example. Like, it wasn't raining on the track and we left and a mile away it was pouring raining. So we might get some of that. I don't know what the forecast is, but with Miami, it's very hard to predict because it's not weather. It's not like a weather front's coming. It's just it just comes up, pops up, rains, and it goes away.
Yeah, the daily shower. It's a daily thing we get here in Tampa. Same thing.
Yeah, and it's a 5-minute shower.
I know.
That's right.
And then the steam comes off the track, and it's like,
but exactly. And the problem is the rain is so narrow. You might get half of the track wet and half of the track dry.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. You gotta give like a billion thumbs up. And I think as Rob said at the beginning of the show, I think the impact on Miami, the city, the culture, I think is huge. I think people are starting to realize how much F1 can do impact worldwide. You know what I mean? It's such a big boost for the city. You understand the people that live near there, that they're used to football games and 50,000 people, blah 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 blah, to an event this big where they've been working on it and trucks and things. I think through the years it's gonna get better because the payment is there. There's a lot of the things there already that are gonna be much easier to put together. I think the track this year will be very good with the grip level. It'd be interesting to see through the years how the degradation of the pavement goes sitting in the sun. You know how Miami really cooks every pavement. So I think that it'll be a surprise for them every year they come. Like the operation of the track, it'll be different and the degradation will be higher. So it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, there's so many tricky corners and long corners and blind corners, and that it's fun. Like yesterday, I got to drive a McLaren P1 around.
Oh man.
Oh
Keep
my
rubbing it in, Juan.
God.
Keep rubbing it in.
I couldn't. You know what I did? I'm not gonna lie to you. When I got out of McLaren P1, I went McLaren P1 fries. I'm like, oh, I'm not getting one.
It's pretty amazing. And
It's a
you know, I
freaking
do have a
race car.
question. Yeah, it's a beautiful car. Hey, I have a question for you. You were bringing up the fact that the residents there, and you think behind the scenes are any of those lawsuits that maybe they bring to the table after the race is gone to try and stop it for next year, or do you think now that it's in place, it really has a home there? And I think it's scheduled for the next 10 years. It's supposed to be on the calendar. You think they can fulfill that contract?
I do think so. I think as you said, the lawsuits are always going to be there. Somebody's willing to, finding ways to either complain about noise, complain about anything, because that's, people can do that here in the States. But I think the city and the state and the government will realize, how big of an event it is. It's like yesterday was Wednesday, and where they were doing the party, it was packed. Like at night, that place was packed with people. I couldn't believe how many people for the concert and everything. It's unbelievable. I mean, this place, the race sold out in a day.
It did, yeah.
I have a buddy of mine who tried to get tickets for a client, and literally for 2 tickets paid about $2,000. I mean,
You got a good
price.
deal.
Yeah, I know.
That
Seriously,
it was a good deal.
No. I am serious. It's like if you.
Well, they're going for $6,000.
Yeah, general admission, just to walk on the grounds. It was, people were reselling for nearly $1,000 because there's no tickets.
That's what he got, his general tickets. Yeah, so
$22,000 for hospitality for one of the suites.
Yeah, the thing is, what people don't realize is, yes, it's a lot of money, but in F1, when you're used to maybe to like a NASCAR suite or an IndyCar suite, and you come to Formula One suite, it's a different animal. Like the show is bigger, the suites are bigger, everything is bigger and better.
I've been there all three.
My question, real quick, I'm sorry, Juan, is that we have obviously Austin, we now have the Miami GP, and coming next year, the third race, Vegas. Is the U.S. a market that's big enough for those 3 races, or could it actually bring more to the table?
But if you think about it, who would have thought Kata would succeed with it?
Yeah, in the beginning they didn't.
And they did, but they have. They sold out. I heard they sold out in a day too. So this is what happens. It's like a lot of people in Mexico rather go maybe to the U.S. and see the Austin race that is close, because to get tickets in the Mexico race is very difficult. So they say, we'll go shopping. That's how, that's how when we lived in Colombia, that's how we saw it. You have people like from Palm Beach and New York, people from the north that have houses in Palm Beach and everything, they want to come to the race. And you got people from South America that want to come to the race. Then when we go to Vegas, it's going to be a different crowd. Again, you got the locals, and then you got people from San Francisco, LA. You got to remember, a lot of the tech companies are involved in F1.
Yeah.
And a lot of the U.S. companies are involved in F1. So if you can bring 3 races to their market, it's huge. And I think that's where Liberty has done an amazing job with it.
I would agree.
I mean, they really understand where they need to go, and they're growing. They keep growing. They understand. In my time, we used to do more miles testing than racing. Like we would race on a Sunday, and then Monday, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were in a track testing. Now, instead of spending all that money testing, let's just go racing more places.
Do you think, Juan, that it can actually take a 4th race? Because Penske is meeting with the head of F1, the new CEO, and that just happened. And everybody's wondering, why is he meeting with them? And they're being very tight-lipped about it. I mean, this is a big market, and obviously there's explosive growth in the U.S. Bloomberg, the investment publication, they came out and they said that it's the Americanization of F1. Now, Zach Brown, he said that he didn't really believe that the Americanization of F1 should take place. What do you think?
I agree with that. I agree with Zach. I think there's no, but I think F1 understands that they cannot go the American way and just do races in America, but they understand it's an important market. As you know, the mainstream races in Europe, you know, they understand that the British Grand Prix is really important. They understand that Monaco is really important, that Monza is really important. They understand, you know, figure out how we keep a race in Germany because, you know, Mercedes, you know what I mean? They really do understand, but they understand, you know, by doing races in the US, you cover a lot of the Americas as well. But, you know, you need to expand. You know what I mean? It's like South America or the Caribbean doesn't have a race, for example, and they're talking about it. And I think that'll be another cool place to have. You know, when you race in Europe, do you like if you look at where the French Grand Prix is, there's the facilities. I mean, the place is unbelievable. But there's no hotels nearby. There's not much. Like I was there not long ago with my kid testing, and you go, why are F1s racing here? You know what I mean? I understand that the race is really important and everything, but you can hear my wife on the back.
Yes, we can.
And she's going.
That's
and she's gonna open the door. Yes, we're in the middle of it. They want the air conditioning.
I don't blame them. Say hello. Hey.
No, she's not my wife. She's my friend, my wife's friend. My wife is here somewhere.
Okay, make that distinction
that's the back
quickly.
seat. Fuck this guy. Don't.
You can't do that to us, Juan. You know that. All right. So, Juan, you were talking about your kid, Sebastian. Talk about what he's going on because that's, you know, you talk about next generation and these other kids that are coming up. As a father, obviously you have some connections and you can work them through the systems. But, you know, for those dads out there that are trying to do that, talk about what your son's gone through and what he's trying to accomplish. And where do you think he's going to end up? Has he got more talent than the old man?
So let's start with the order. The order that you asked me is why would I tell the parents? And first thing I would tell them, don't spend the money in karting as much as you're spending. I think karting is really important, but don't help your kid win spending money.
I agree with that 1,000%.
Don't go and buy the better motor. Don't go buy the more things. Don't. He's got to figure out himself, and he needs to have enough equipment that when he's on his A day and does everything right, he might have a shot at winning. Because he needs to learn to work for it. Because most of the people want to win with money, and when you win with money, it's going to get to a point in your career that your money doesn't really matter. And when your money doesn't really matter, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And the other part, I think
has proved that.
Yeah, it's difficult. But, you know, on the other side of the coin, you know, my kid, I think it's hard because it's my kid, but at the same time, I try to tell people, and and it's the truth, I'm really hard on him. You know, I've talked to you, Rob, before, and like I'm not nice to him when we're racing. I'm an asshole. I call it how I see it, and the bloody kid is very good. It's like we run together in Sebring, and it's unbelievable how good he is right now. It's crazy. It's just and he's learning to be his own self-critic. It's like I looked at the qualifying in Monza and he said, "Hey, you did a good job. You know, you screw up one corner, but other than that, you put a hell of a lap together." And he goes, "No, I sucked." I'm like, "Okay, no, you didn't." I'm like, "Yes, I did. I should have done better." I'm like, and that when you do it in a constructive way, I think is very good because it means that you're paying attention to the details. And when you pay attention to the details, you're gonna get better and better a lot quicker.
We're talking to Juan Pablo Montoya. It's Michele Rahal. I'm Rob D'Amico. This is Cooks and Cars, the RaceDay Nation edition. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, getting ready for the Miami GP this weekend, which is going to be a spectacular event for the world of racing. And when we say that, we mean that, you know, when you have the success of one sport, it's also bringing up the success of other sports as well, especially open wheel. And we all know IndyCar could definitely use that help right now because they're struggling a little bit. We see the crowds, but we know that they have a good product. It's great racing. So how do you think, with this type of race in the U.S. Will help open wheel here in America?
I think the timing of this race is great because IndyCar is on track next week, and they were on track last week, and then we got the 500 in 2 or 3 weeks. I think the time people are paying attention, and Indy puts a hell of a show. They have a hell of a product, so it'll be exciting. I'm kind of excited to see what they can bring this year, and I'm excited to take part of it and see what happens.
Well, they're going to try. I mean, they're talking about the model being more ovals. How do you feel about more ovals and that being their identity? Because that seems to be where Penske's gravitating towards.
The more ovals, the problem is it used to be like 4 or 5 street courses, 4 or 5 road courses, and 4 or 5 ovals, and now it's like you got 2 ovals or 3 ovals only. So do they need to expand on the ovals? Absolutely, I do. I'm 100% agree with that they're missing a championship that has always been very cool on base everything that you race. And I think they got to do a better job. They've done a great job with the series. The series is definitely on the up. That is great. But I do agree that it's missing ovals. I don't know if they cannot go to the ovals where NASCAR goes, or how does that work? That's very political. I'm not sure how it works. But, we used to go to California. It was fun. They went to Vegas. We used to go Homestead. There's a lot of places. I know it's difficult because I know they want to go to places where the promoters are excited to have it, but I think it's important to go places where people watching are excited to watch it too.
I'll switch gears a little bit. Obviously, you used to race NASCAR as well. NASCAR's doing a bunch of different things. They did the Coliseum deal. They've done, some dirt racing at Bristol. What do you think of some people call it gimmicky or whatever. How do you see that? Because it is, to me, I love the fact that now they actually do more road racing, which is awesome. But the problem is I'd love to see at a street race. I'm not a big dirt guy. I feel like it's a little gimmicky, but listen, it adds to the championship, and they seem to pack the stands for it.
So you got to remember that people that race NASCAR came from dirt.
Yeah.
All the good old boys and all the young guys there, they all race dirt. So when you race dirt all the time and you grew up in dirt and you look at a guy like Larson that every weekend is racing dirt, the dirt guys and the kids, it's a good way of connecting the career that, it's kind of telling. Now, what was the thing they called the NASCAR roots or the NASCAR, the local track?
Yeah, the roots.
It's like going back to the local tracks. It's kind of showing people this is the way of doing it. If you want to come to NASCAR, don't waste your time karting. Go dirt racing from when you're young.
Hey, real quick before we head out here, I know you're busy. You got the family in the car and you're enjoying the weekend down there in Miami. Some of your hobbies, you still doing the RC planes and all that stuff, putting together some models?
That.
I love doing that. I was doing that. The problem is I moved to Europe and I have nowhere to do them at the moment, and I have all my planes here in the States, so I haven't done it. I would love to do it again. It's just no time at the moment. I'm sure in a couple of years I'm going to be flying again. The problem is right now, I'm running around like crazy, and it's hard because working really hard to help my kid race and everything, and myself, my career, and everything. So we just nonstop. And
then still cooking on your big green egg?
I'm waiting for my big green egg, by the way.
I knew. I was a little afraid to answer that question.
Right,
but
no.
It's coming. You know that.
I know it's coming, and it's perfect because right now it's finally starting to warm up, and I'm really excited. I found a place in Italy that they sell the briskets.
Yep.
And they sell Wagyu briskets, so I'm pretty excited about that one. Oh, yes,
Very
I know.
Nice.
So
I'm excited about that one.
You guys are passing recipes back and forth, right?
I love it. I'm really lucky because, like, we do a lot of pizza. We used to do a lot of pizzas, and a friend of mine works in a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and the pastry department was doing the dough for us. And
Oh, there you
like
go.
proper one.
Spectacular, man. All right.
Egg is
Hey,
great, man. It's great.
what do we expect on Sunday for this race? What do you think we're going to see here?
I think you're gonna see an amazing race. I think you might see some people getting it wrong, but I think you're gonna see a lot of passing back and forth because if you look at, people are gonna pass you in the back straight, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners for the other long straight. So I think you might get passed, and then 2, 3 corners later, if you can keep up, you're gonna get a hell of a run, and you're probably gonna be able to pass again. And then if they have that the third zone in the start finish line, you might even fight back again. So I think it's cool. And as you said, the straight is so long that if the DRS opens early enough, you could be passing 2 people. Like the guy with the no DRS is gonna struggle.
Yeah.
Well, that brings into question whether or not one opens DRS,
it's called
he
racing!
gets passed, and then he opens the DRS, so they're swapping back and forth.
That is great.
Yeah, that's exactly
it. Verstappen and Leclerc the last time they were complaining. I thought it was great.
Well, they always complain. You know what I mean?
Everybody, it's racing cars.
Everybody complains. We're race car drivers. If we wouldn't complain, we're not doing our job.
Do we expect the same as a Ferrari, Red Bull kind of deal, or we think McLaren could get up on that podium? I don't think Mercedes really has much here because of all the issues they've had this year. But is it the same kind of group that we're looking at?
It'd be interesting to see with the low downforce if Mercedes can lower the car and get away from the purposing by taking a lot lower downforce approach. And if they do, the car might come to life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be interesting to see because if you have less purposing here than normal with the lower aero package, lower downforce package, it might come to life. Some cars that you go, what? But I would assume that the Ferrari and the Red Bull are going to be up front for sure.
Yeah. And then real quick with the Andretti thing going on with F1, putting putting them on notice. I got the money. We're ready to go. You think having the 3 US GPs in the States with another American team, if we can, we got Haas obviously, but listen, B team with Ferrari, all that stuff. It's great, but we like to have a competing team here in the U.S. that can go against the conglomerates of Red Bull and Ferrari and things like that. I think it's possible.
I think Haas have done a great job, and I think Haas' approach was the right one to start the team. Through the years, he might get better and might find an engine deal through the years, but if you don't, if you probably look at what Andretti was thinking, it would be probably like a Renault engine or something. So he would have been in the same picture of a Haas or somebody else. I'm not sure, but it's not easy. It's not easy, and I'm not sure it will happen. From what you hear, at least the rumor-wise, is that they kind of turn him away. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Juan Pablo Montoya live from the Miami GP this weekend. A champion driver. You've won Monaco, the Indy 500. You name a race, you've been there. As one of those races. I think it was Le Mans that you're trying to get for that Triple Crown. You ever going to make it back to the track and try to get that win?
But we won last year in class. So it's kind of funny because in the class we ran, we had 9 cars, and the class for overall had 3 cars or 4 cars. So it's kind of crazy. It's very political and everything. But I was happy to get the Le Mans win in class, and that's it. If you ask me. It's very simple. If you ask anybody if I won Le Mans, I actually did, whether you like it or not.
That's right. All right, man. We appreciate I'm honored for you to come on the show during this special weekend.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to say, I'm sure getting your egg. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I'll get the text. That.
No pressure, Rob. No pressure.
Juan will be like, damn, Rob, get the...
I will. I did tell him I had like 3 or 4 weeks before I go back to Europe. So
okay, so we'll handle that off air. But yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You get me in trouble.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, man. We'll see you. Thank you. All right, man. Juan Pablo Montoya. So glad he could come on with us, man.
Very cool.
he's such a down to earth guy. And I think you even said to me one time that, you know, everybody you've talked to that's dealt with Juan on a team or, you know, anywhere in a garage, and it just a nice guy. He's down to earth. He's one of us. He's just like everybody else. And, you know, he puts his pants on the same way we do, right? It's just that.
Just a hell of a lot faster.
Yes, exactly.
Like a fireman.
I love how his family started getting in the car. He's like, hey, come on, Dad, let's go. We got to go. All right.
I almost asked him, is your friend in the back seat married?
Yeah. Is she single? All right. For Michele, Rahal, I'm Rob D'Amico. Thank you so much for watching today. We do appreciate it. Don't forget, you can follow us on our website, racedaynation.com, CooksandCars.com. You can follow me at Rob D'Amico, ROBDAMICO. Michele?
You can find me on Facebook, just Michele, MICHELE, Rahal, RAHAL. Not too many of us on Facebook with that name. And you can find me on Instagram at Michele Rahal, MICHELE, RAHAL, the number 9. Where that came from, still don't know. Nonetheless, that's where you can find us.
I think I know where the 9 came from. So I was in the post office the other day and I saw the 10 most wanted. You were number 9 on that.
I want to be number 1. I mean, the hell number 9.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't like odd numbers, Rob. I like even numbers. You know, if they'd have chosen 8, I'd have gone, okay, well, that was one of the numbers on my race cars. I could handle that, or 10 or something like that. I have no idea.
You get 9 and you like it. You got it?
Yeah, I've got no choice.
All right.
Zuckerberg isn't going to allow anything out of the ordinary.
That's right.
It's his
All
world.
right. For Michele, Rahal, I'm Rob D'Amico. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this weekend for the Miami GP.